And the other thing here is now it looks like we're, Long Beach, Lakewood area, again, still hovering around on the 405, just
Hmm.
maintaining that stretch of road on the freeway, and nothing has changed. There hasn't even been any close attempt, at least from our perspective, the last 10 minutes or so, of trying to get off on an exit. And I hope I say that, and it doesn't
I
mean he's
know.
about to start doing it again, because when it happened the last two times, it was about as brief as you can imagine, of getting onto those streets and then turning right back around, jumping back on the freeway. So this has been the image that we have been maintaining the entire time, and really has not.
You got to wonder though if there was a strategy there to going the opposite direction. I mean, he maybe
Maybe,
found himself getting into the San Diego, route and thought,
and then figured turn right back
maybe
around.
let's go back where I know more familiar with. Maybe he's going back to Santa Monica.
Well, especially now too, when you have the dynamic of an unidentified white car, like something else like that feels so, that's tangential, but at the same time feels weirdly disconnected as well.
Could be anything, yeah.
Dave, as they figure out that part of the information, by now it's very clear, assuming this is that the suspect is the car owner as well. They have all the information on this person already by their side, correct? That now it's really the only thing left is just the pursuit at hand. Everything else is already in the books and known.
Yeah, I mean, they got everything that they could possibly get. They have it by now. And who knows, maybe they found that other vehicle that they believe was possibly involved with it.
Yeah, I found a
So
random
maybe they
live
were sometimes the
high-speed
victims are
chase, so I
chasing the
figured I'd
suspect
watch
or
it with
the
you guys.
additional
Hello,
suspect that,
Nightwolf.
we just don't know at this point. But I mean, when you think about the area that we've covered from Santa Monica down to San Clemente area, and now we're heading back north.
Yeah, now we're Wilmington, Compton area. So you're right. Yeah, we have really just started stretching right back around. And it's just sort of, I almost want to call it a circle, but it's hard to make a circle when you're just on the same exact road. That you're just kind of retracing your own steps. On the right side of your screen, for
I
those
believe
of you
it
watching, this is
started
what we were
around the
talking
Santa
about
Monica
earlier.
area.
The suspect pulled off of the freeway, got off on
We're
an
about
exit,
30 minutes in.
reaches
Right
these
back around.
surface streets, and you see the turn onto traffic. And this is the slowest it ever got at any given point, before eventually, you'll see it here in just a second, suspect realizes, okay, I guess I'm just going to turn this right back around and get right back on the freeway. And so begins, once again, the live picture that you see on the left side of your screen. So
that's really the only action, Dave, that we've had this entire, at least as long as we've been watching it, which has been for the last 44 minutes at least. But this guy is really stuck to his MO.
Yes. I mean, and that's just what his MO is.
Had
Most
a
of
great
us are really
power
sure, but,
outage for about 6
now he's heading
hours.
back
That was a lot of
I guess
fun.
he's going to be familiar. I mean, this started Santa Monica area, so that's probably where now I'm thinking, okay, everything's changed. Okay, now we're heading back northbound. So, and maybe
Of course, what do you do? I slept through half of it.
And that might just be a matter of comfort, right, David? That we always go back and follow back to you in terms of, all right, let's get to an area where maybe we can make, because this is based on experience as well. You get to situations where they're looking for a friend or someone to swap out a car, or maybe get it under an overpass, or get into a neighborhood that I'm familiar with, jump out on foot. The dynamics then turn incredibly crazy, because all the variables, you start adding all this extra stuff. Whereas right now, it's very, very it's a very basic equation as to what we're looking at right now versus what could happen if this suspect decides to, finally jump off the freeway at some point.
Yeah, and hopefully as much as, I mean, it's late enough where I usually say I'd rather see the pursuits on the freeway than on the streets for obvious reasons, stoplights, pedestrians, that sort of thing. But we're kind of late in the evening now, so the freeways are lightened up now. I mean, like right now, I mean, to me, this would be the best bet. I mean, as far as a pursuit goes, they're all dangerous. And let's not forget, at 100 miles per hour, if you accidentally tap the left rear or the right rear of a vehicle in front of you, you're going to send that vehicle spinning. And that's what really scares me. So this is such a dangerous type pursuit, even though it looks like, the suspect staying clear of everybody else.
Yeah.
You have the black and whites there. It's still and we all know that it's an extremely dangerous pursuit.
Always, but it is, you get kind of, after 46 minutes of watching the same thing, you get a little comfortable in terms of thinking like, oh, this is just standard, what we've seen is what we've got. But you're right, in the blink of an eye, all it takes is one person being startled by, this car going 108, 12, 15, 19 miles an hour, and they accidentally swerve into their line of driving, and then we've got a very different scene. So that's the reminder here right now as we watch this move into the Harbor Gateway area of the 405 northbound, that this is still a very dangerous high-speed situation that CHP is not backing down from.
And it's not just the any unsuspecting driver who's on the 405 right now going home or going somewhere else and not expecting this gigantic chase to be swerving or flying right past them, but it's for the suspect's own safety as well. At any given point, we've seen the worst of crashes and the worst of slips.
This guy's been running
concrete
upwards of
barriers
100
and all
miles
the
per
like.
hour
So
for
it's
20
just as
minutes or
dangerous for
so.
the suspect here as it is for anybody else that's
Good point.
Car's
that's
going
on
to
the road,
eventually
as
run out
now,
of fuel.
we get to Torrance here.
Imagine that's
and,
where it gets
I mean,
exciting.
I think Dave, you're right in the sense that if this started around Santa Monica, we are about as close back there now compared to where we were just 20, 30 minutes ago.
That is one thing I've noticed about high-speed chases
like
like this. The guys get out there on the freeway and then they run out so far, and then it's like they don't know where they're going, so they head back home, and then they run back out and head back home.
Grab another freeway, or just continue all the way up to the 10.
And right now, Dave, as we look
Just
at
driving
CHP that's
around
been
in
on this
circles,
the entire time, obviously
prolonging
they're not
your
going to hand this off to another agency unless it gets off the
time.
freeway and into somebody else's jurisdiction. But they have chosen to follow this as we see them in that far left-hand lane. And talk about that training that, they see year after year, but also the change in their approach to these types of car chases. They have gotten more aggressive, it appears, from what you've been telling us in recent years.
Yes. They we didn't really see, we've seen this kind of pursuit with them, and I'm talking years and years ago. But I mean, their pit maneuvers, their spike maneuvers. I mean, they get officers out there, and it's I mean, they're law enforcement, and they just have, like I said, every department has its own textbook. I mean, what they follow. That's why most departments, not just the CHP, like to have their own people involved in this, but other agencies do too, until the very end. And then in that case, you want as many units there. You don't care the color of the uniform or the shape of the badge. You want backup. But with this one here, I mean, it's and with the training, and they even with the pit maneuvers,
So far, it's looked like they're pretty much just letting them run out of gas.
And that's through hours and hours of training. Every individual officer, law enforcement officer in the state
got a
of
little
California
close there.
gets, like I said, at least minimum 40, but usually more than that. So it's and this technique, I mean, they stay back a little bit and then they get right on the suspect. And if you notice, they get right on the driver's side, so that driver gets a good view of their headlights flashing back. Their black. I was thinking that they had the wigwag, the headlights that flash back and forth, but they do not. But they see the light bar and they see the red lights flashing, and so I think that's a technique they use to try and get this suspect that, hey, it's over, it's done, we're not going anywhere.
What, do they not see the blue lights or something?
Exactly.
I imagine they see both the red and the blue lights.
We've seen a lot of
Sorry,
the leapfrogging of different cars, different CHP officers switching out, potentially helping with that fatigue of following this for so long. But we're thinking, when are they going to run out of gas?
Well, the other thing we also have to think about right now, because we are in Inglewood and it looks like Hawthorne area as well, that, LAX airspace is not that far away from where we are right now.
Right.
So it's just a fair warning, because we're noticing, at least I'm noticing, how we're zoomed out a bit. That's just something we have to keep an eye on. So if we do have to break away from it for a bit and reestablish a visual, at least a little bit later on, just know that for those of you watching at home, that's why SkyCal can't get a touch closer in certain instances, is because we are getting close to LAX airspace just based on the map that we're looking at right now. But, still very much on that path still on the 405 back up to the Santa Monica area where this thing sort of started. And, just keeping an eye on this, it is, you hate to just kind of fall back on the same type of playbook that we always do. But Dave, it's so, there's a reason it's a cliche. There's a reason it's a playbook. It's very likely that this person tries to go back to, where they're most familiar with, and then try to, play their game again and see if this is the opportunity to sort of lose them. Not that they will, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, 112 is dangerous, but so long as they're not
it's kind of late at,
doing risky maneuvers
or down into LAX, so it's
seriously putting other drivers in danger, which they are for certain putting drivers in danger.
ATC, air traffic controller,
they kind of
there's nobody inbound. They may go ahead and
let them go for a little bit.
Just follow the pursued northbound to 405. That's been done before. And, of course, even with LAPD ships and sheriffs, we still got to abide by the same rules, but we can get into what's called Class Bravo. And if you can picture this, just like the 105 north to the 10, that's all kind of Class Bravo. It's a different shape, but I can't get into all that on the air. But it kind of gives you an idea of, and all that is
GMK.
Protect the heavies coming in, the big jets,
right?
Just to keep the helicopters out of the way. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll let us squeeze in there. They may not.
Yeah. Well, and again, as we see this person driving the far shoulder, it's getting a little more crowded here in this area of the freeway. We're seeing a lot more cars than we were, and not necessarily seeing CHP quite as close as they have.
Power outage sucked. It ruined my entire turkey.
On this chase.
I had a big turkey roasted and some Monte Cristo sandwiches planned.
More populated, if that's going to
maybe
kind of change the approach here from CHP as they try to keep everybody protected. They've got to weigh, obviously, public safety above all else.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about. We had talked about earlier. It's all about public. This is why we have this, is for public safety, and just to make them aware of what's going on. We have this one car with the blinker, and thank God they moved.
Have you been able to tell?
Now that little technique splitting traffic there, that might get the cops a little.
Is it just still the chopper from
they
might
following? Pick this up a little bit.
I haven't got. I've been waiting for a call or something.
Closed out the
maybe we're going to launch one because we have, and it's what, Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they usually have 2, maybe 3. I'm talking LAPD has 2, maybe 3 ships up, but it's the city of LA.
Yeah.
You got officer backup calls. You got 211s, 459s. You got a lot of stuff going on. And they're not able to pull off for the CHP pursuit. So that may be one reason why I don't see one of them overhead.
Yeah, still going upwards of 100 to 110, 20 miles an hour, assuming the speedometer is correct in timing all of that out right now. But still ongoing, as we're getting into. It looks like we were getting close to Marina Del Rey. We're obviously in Inglewood, Westchester area. It's just still. We keep using the word consistent because that's just what it is on the 405 here for this suspect. Every time we zoom in,
is it a blue car?
It
looks like a silver, blue, or
the darkness.
Gray.
It's still using the turn signals.
Sedan.
Polite as he leads us on this high-speed chase for over an hour.
Yeah, though I wonder now if
are we exiting?
Maybe no, not entirely sure. Certainly a lot more cram there, though, Hunter, to your point earlier about traffic and everything else slowing things down just a bit. It looks blue, though.
It does look blue, and obviously they've been able to run those plates, because if you're just now joining us here at almost midnight, we're following this chase that started in Santa Monica. It looks like it's returning to that same area. As this car is wanted for speeding originally, we can see CHP as those officers close behind, but we still don't know how many individuals are in the car, if there is another information they've been able to figure out about it.
Yeah, I haven't heard any information.
This person is committed, which has made it where they've elevated this to the point of wanting to stay with it for upwards of an hour, because we've only been following it now for 55 minutes, but it was going on well before we were able to get over it ourselves.
And now just picking up speed again as it gets sort of a breakaway. But it looks like we switched over, Dave, now to the 10 eastbound.
Yeah.
So I think you made a mention of that, whether or not he would jump on the 10 or stay on the 405. Looks like the decision has been made.
Yeah, he's heading back. He's been heading back towards L.A. So he's leaving Santa Monica.
Mm.
So he may just be making one giant loop. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty much what they do. They like to run one big loop.
The next major one at that rate, he could keep on the 10, or I guess he could jump back on the 110 if he wanted to.
Exactly.
But
this is when you wish you could see the gas gauge right now. How much
bad guy gas gauge meter
truck we were covering a little bit earlier this evening, where that one was going to run out of gas a lot sooner than this one. If this looks like a rather standard 4-door sedan, then they're going to be stretching that one out for a bit, especially if you're going on the highway as opposed to in the city.
And go.
So we got off the freeway.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
We're seeing some movement here.
The Robertson area. That's West LA area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now LAPD's been notified of it. And we'll see if CHP is going to request them, which I would imagine they are. So, I mean, they're watching this also on TVs in the station. So they know exactly where this thing's at, where this pursuit's going.
You got to wonder if, CHP is hoping that
Robertson's Boulevard.
that this is a sign they're going to give themselves up, or is it a sign that they're just going to get right back on the freeway and go a different direction?
Even here, not on the freeways, it's still getting to
high.
Dangerous speeds
with
traffic all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is just one of those situations too. You just hold your breath as you see these cars stop.
Yeah, the intersections are where you're like, oh my God.
They're still going very, very fast right now.
Ooh, how are you going to get through here?
Oh, we'll see if he tries to squeeze through. This could be the.
It certainly looks like like that person wants to.
He almost did.
Yeah. Oh, that person was being really, really heads up. The victim there in that white vehicle.
Yeah.
They could see what was going on. They pulled over, said, "Just get away from me. Just you're an accident looking for someplace to happen. It's not going to be with me. Just get away from me."
Yeah, that defensive driving too, as we talk about, it's different when you're on these surface level streets versus the freeway, but you've always got to be aware of what's going on, especially when crazies like this have no problem.
That's a good example.
71's a little nutball pass for this area.
But geez, I mean, 70 plus miles an hour on
quit copying me,
with,
dude. I just said
traffic at a stop and go at slow speeds. I mean, we've seen many situations where a suspect will just rear end someone because either they've stopped too quickly or haven't been paying attention, or a myriad of other
giving the guy advice over there. Are you
pulling off into an alleyway? This tends to be a situation where you start to see someone maybe try to run away from it. Yep.
Yeah, you can see CHP. It looks like they pulled off, and they could tell that.
Oh, and
he's going to try dipping it.
And
it moved a little.
Yeah, we can't even tell.
Yeah, we can't even make out what's going on.
Okay, but he's still in the car moving.
Well, that's because you're
around.
blind. I can see him.
Anything right now? That can't be. And a lot of times too, they get out and they leave the car going, so it just coasts, and you don't even realize that they've jumped out. Did you see something in the back of the?
That's that little yellow thing in the back.
Not a head, but maybe a.
That one's been there the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Such an interesting choice to turn those lights off.
We got a black and white right behind them.
Yeah. It didn't work if that was the goal.
You're not losing them. You can still see your brake lights.
Okay,
headlights are back on. Oh shit! Cop behind me. I guess I'll turn back on my light.
It did look like that. I mean, just based on based on previous experience, you assume in that situation, shut off lights, go in an alleyway, and in a residential area, or at least an area with a lot of buildings and a lot of avenues for escape, so to speak. That's typically when someone would jump out. But it feels, Dave, like at this point, it's sort of a scramble, right? As if the suspect is just. They know they're running out of options here.
I agree, because it looks like we're a rat trapped in a.
Yeah, they're trying to find a place to ditch this car.
I mean, this is alarming to see. It looks like maybe alleyways. We saw those trash cans. Obviously,
coming out of stop here for a
second.
Another
weird decision they've got to make. I really thought that was somebody's driveway as well, which would obviously be a dead end, but. You got to wonder if they're familiar with this area, if this is an area that they know well, or if they're just kind of hoping for the best at this point.
I think they're hunting for a place to ditch the car.
Behind
Is
a
the door
tree
open?
from our
There you
there
go.
There's one
Okay.
person.
Now, is he giving
Oh
himself up?
yeah,
What's
we're
he
just gonna
doing?
go walk
Okay.
out here. Nobody
Uh-oh,
knows
there
it
he goes.
wasn't
For it.
me.
It looks like a horizontally striped shirt, had
Yeah.
baseball cap, dark pants, white
Something's in
tennis
his
with
hand.
What you keeping the
Is it
keys for?
keys?
And there he goes.
Mm,
Okay, we have no idea what we're chasing right now. We have no
No.
idea if this guy's got a weapon, if he's
Mhm.
running from a 187, a burglary, whatever.
Hello.
Oh, and there's
there's
their
the
officers.
right there. Oh,
And they're
Oh, of course it lags right there. Perfect
gonna
spot.
get him.
Boom. Okay,
Whew.
we're going down.
And in the
wow.
middle of traffic too.
Wow.
Cell
In the
phone.
middle of the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah.
All right. So
Almost
they're,
looked like he either dropped whatever was carrying.
It's my right to
they're
record
still
in
fighting
public.
those officers all the way
Yeah.
to the ground. Wow.
A lot to
Yeah.
make of at the moment.
If you notice, it looks like CHP requested LAPD on it, but CHP is going to follow the course because this is probably their caper, so they'll end up making the arrest. But yeah, I mean, once again, this is one of those things where it just goes on and on and on. But thank goodness nobody was hurt. No civilians were hurt. Law enforcement did as
Holy
much as
crap!
they
You
could
think they
to
got enough
keep the
guys
public
on
safe.
his back?
It was really nerve-wracking there for a bit,
I
though,
mean,
Dave. I mean,
watching
especially
that,
not
yeah.
just at the 100+ miles per hour for an extended period of time on the freeway, but even just there at the very, very end where this person's running into the middle of the street, and it's not law enforcement vehicles that he's running into. It's just traffic on a Saturday night that is
Right.
roaming around and has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that's all righty. Well,
He was-
he's finally in custody, so
In
they're going to go
custody.
back.
Hey, at least
They'll
he's
go
wearing
back
a
and check out
striped
the vehicle,
shirt
make sure
already.
there's
Too
not
bad it's not
body
like
stuff,
white and black or
trunk. They'll do
orange
all
and
that
black.
stuff now that they got this
But
guy
green
in
and black,
custody.
maybe they'll take him to a special jail
And
that
probably,
has
get
green
his
and black.
identification and just talk to him and say, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah. And surely if there's more that they've learned in the process of this, we're taking a look here on the right side of your screen when he jumps out of that vehicle, kind of starts jogging before then really picking up speed. And
Also, almost looked like he locked the car.
locked the
as he
car,
ran
had
away.
something in his hand, which was worrying.
Yeah, that's what I
me
thought.
as
It
he's
looked like he
looking
had
around,
his
and then
keys
watching
and
as
then
he
he got out
actually
his cell
tries to
phone.
run
And that's what
past
dropped on the
either a
ground when he
CHP or an
fell. It looked
LAPD
like the cell phone screen.
cruiser at one point here before they eventually, as you saw, take him down, take him to the ground, take him into
There they are.
custody. Yeah.
Well, Dave, we appreciate you so much for giving us your time on a Saturday night, not once,
No
but
worries.
twice.
Wow, what a treat
So,
for us.
yeah, what a night indeed on Tuesday.
Anyway, that was a lot of fun. I just thought I'd share it with you guys. As always, you don't have to be wise, just don't submit to stupid. Thank you very much, and have a great night.